We are rolling through our last week of October, and it has been a warm one. It has been a wet one, and now it's turning stormy just in time to end the month. This week, we're getting one storm system out of here. By late week, another storm system moves back in out of the west, both pretty big storm systems, and each trying to chip away at the heat that we've had through a big part of the month. In fact, after the second one moves through on into the weekend, and there's another wave and cold front that moves through early next week, it'll start to open the gates for cooler air to start settling in across the Great Lakes as we get on into November, and you would expect that to be the case. In fact, here's a look at the temperature difference from the normal as we go on into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Notice that cold air starting to fill in across the United States and even off to our north. This is an area that I watch very closely as we get into this time of the year to start dropping those colder temperatures southward. And again, this is on into, next week, into your first week of November. And of course, the actual air temperature itself, it goes up and down with day and night here as we look ahead into next week, but you can plainly see that colder air just slowly fading its way back into our region. So we are going into a pattern shift here that'll start opening the door for colder temperatures. And yes, even some snow to start entering our forecast. Right now, it looks like the bulk of the snow is going to stay out into the mountains and to the west. But notice how we start to fill in across parts of southern Canada. And that's a pretty good indication that that colder air will start settling southward. Now, that was one model. Here's another model that also is showing that same trend of that cold air starting to lay down some blankets of snow, even into the Great Lakes, southeast of the Great Lakes here, as we head on into late next week and on into the following weekend as we start to turn these temperatures down. Now, one thing's for sure, it's not going to be dry. A lot of wet weather expected after several of these storm systems move on through, and it's a big part of the eastern part of the United States here that will be dealing with that weather, stormier weather here over the next week or two as we wrap up October and head on into November. So I thought I'd just take a minute tonight and look at the bottom line here as we wrap up the month and go into November. One thing's for sure, summer is over. There's no question about it. Stormy pattern building into November, turning colder, and more than likely we'll start to introduce those snowflakes back in the forecast, especially as that colder air works its way out of Canada. May take a week or so, but it does look like that colder pattern is starting to settle in as we head on into the second half of our fall.